like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who could bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GGB Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have yourself to blame, y'all. Cricket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop until you get your mouth on LGBT. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yup, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
Well, they say when it rains, it pours, man. Y'all press 2 if y'all can hear me in the comments, man. We're going to get right to the smoke, man. If y'all can hear me in the comment section, press 2. Let me get a mic check real quick. Can y'all hear me? Just let me know y'all can hear me, man. We're going to get right on with the video. Y'all can hear me? I bet. Man, Diddy just got dealt another blow, man. As I have some breaking news update on the situation that you guys may have seen Little Rod at the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. I saw Lil Rod talk with, I think it was Tisa Tell. Shout out to Tisa. Lil Rod told her he was there to see justice served. This is what Lil Rod said. But now the judge in Lil Rod's case has come forward and made a ruling. Now, for you guys who don't know what's going on with Lil Rod, I'm going to let y'all know in just a second because some of y'all might not specifically know what's going on with Rodney, Lil Rod Jones. And so I'm going to let y'all know about that in a minute. But first, I'm going to show y'all the paperwork that just came through. Shout out to Diddy Docket for dropping this. Salute to that brother, man. Doing great work. But as you guys see right here on your screen, this paperwork just dropped tonight as the judge in the United States District Court of the Southern District of New York in the case of Rodney, Lil Rod Jones, and Sean Diddy Combs. Judge Paul Oken, right? The district judge, J. Paul Oken, he writes, counsel for all parties are directed to appear telephonically for a Fed R Civil P16 conference with the court on August the 6th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Counsel should call blank number. The attendee ID number is blank. Counsel who appear at the pretrial call must be authorized to negotiate terms of settlement. Members of the public may join, but are instructed to place their phones on mute. Counsel are directed to confer with each other prior to the conference. Counsel are further directed to use the court's civil case management plan and scheduling order form, called the form, to jointly prepare a detailed written proposed schedule for any motions in discovery that counsel should type entries into this form using a copy of form available at the website they provided. The parties should submit a copy of the completed form by filing an ECF at least 3 business days prior to the date of the conference so ordered on May the 16th, 2025, New York, New York. J. Paul Oken, United States District Judge. So now, basically, the judge has ordered these guys to come to this conference, their counsels, and basically now we're getting into the situation, you guys, where we are getting into these pretrial situations, man. Crazy, crazy work, man. We are now getting into a situation where we're getting into this. You know what I'm saying? And so now the judge, they want to see the evidence. And this is just getting crazy in this situation for uh, you know, for Diddy. As for you guys who don't know what's going on, Lil Rod basically made some allegations against Diddy, and the allegations, this is not for a settlement agreement. This is not for a settlement. This is going to court. Diddy's not settling with him. Nikki, I don't think you know anything you're talking about. Respectfully, this is not about a settlement. This is already going to court. And Diddy's refusing to settle with the guy. This is going to court. They've already got dates to do the to go and have a meeting with the councils because they have to turn in the evidence in discovery. This goes into discovery. So this is not, this is not no settlement. Diddy's not settling. Oh, no. You ain't put no question mark beside it. That's why you said that. You said you asking, but you ain't put no question mark. So you said that's for a settlement. I ain't know. Now you said you was asking. Okay, cool, no problem. But yeah, this is not about a settlement. This is about evidence now. So Lil Rod, and I'm gonna tell you what Lil Rod said, in as far as his situation with Diddy. Now Lil Rod came out and said that from back in September of 2022 to September of 2023, that he had produced 9 songs for Diddy's Love album. Right, that was a great album too. I ain't gonna lie, I like Diddy's Love album. I just don't like Diddy. It's crazy. But it says from September 2022 to September 2023, Rodney Jones lived with Diddy. So he lived with Diddy for months, spending the holidays, birthdays, and missing major family events just to be with Diddy and work with Diddy. And Lil Rod basically said he resided at Diddy's residence in Los Angeles, in California, in Miami, and in Miami, Florida. And he also said he spent several weeks on a yacht that was rented by Diddy in the U.S. Virgin Islands and in St. Bartholomew. Now, Rodney basically said he made several trips with Diddy to New York City throughout his time of living with Diddy. Now, he said throughout his time with Diddy that he witnessed and experienced and endured many things that went far beyond his role as a producer of this Love album. Now, Lil Rod said that, he said that, the claims that he had raised had been corroborated through witness statements. So Lil Rod said he had witnesses to his situations. He said he has witness statements, video and audio recordings, personal experiences, and images as well, as Rodney says. Now, Rodney says that Diddy required him, right? Diddy required him to record constantly. On several occasions, they said Diddy and Rodney Jones, or Diddy took Rodney Jones' cell phone. Now, this sounds like a pattern because Cassie and other people said that Diddy did the same thing, would take these people's cell phones and everything. But he says that on several occasions, Diddy took his cell phone and began recording himself. He said as a result, Rodney has secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Diddy staff, and his guests engaging in serious illegal activity. Now, Rodney said that, he has personally witnessed and secured irrefutable evidence of, the acquisition and use and distribution of X, that white stuff, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and shrooms, all of which we've heard about in this trial. Rodney also said that displaying and distribution of unregistered illegal firearms, all of which we saw in the raid. He also said that Diddy providing laced alcohol beverages to underage women in LA at his home in July of 2023. That lines up with what Don Richard was saying, about Diddy. And that's going to be interesting to see how Don Richard goes with that on Monday. Because if they go there on Monday, that means they're going to pull him up in this trial. And it says sex workers at his home in California, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Florida, and St. Bartholomew. So Lil Rod said he's witnessed these sex workers as well. And so, see, this is why I tell you guys, we got to find out what's going on with this situation. But Lil Rod said that he's witnessed and he has evidence of all of this. Now, He also says, and he alleges that Diddy's chief of staff, who goes by the name of Christina Corum, as y'all know, says that she instructs her staff to retrieve the drugs so that she can provide them to Diddy for his consumption. Now, he also alleged that Diddy's son, at this time, he alleged that Diddy's son, Christian Combs, had drugged and sexually assaulted a woman, right? Now, if you guys remember, Christian Combs and what you call it, I forget the other guy's name, the actor's name, the famous actor's name, Cuba Gooding Jr. They both actually got lucky and fell out of this lawsuit because the lawyer couldn't find him in time enough to serve him for this lawsuit. So they actually fell out, but they can refile lawsuits against them individually if they want. It says that Diddy detailing how he planned. He said Diddy basically detailed to him how he planned to leverage his relationship with Bishop T.D. Jakes to soften the impact on his public image of the Cassie Ventura allegations in the lawsuit that Cassie brought against him. Now, he said Young Miami's cousin and or assistant sexually assaulted him. He says actor Cuba Jr. sexually assaulted him. And he says that a rapper whose name he didn't put in here on Diddy's yacht, consorting with underage girls, sex workers, and he says an R&B singer who he won't say his name, in Diddy's Los Angeles home, consorting with underage, girls and sex workers is what Rodney said that he witnessed and has proof of. Now, he also claims that there was a shooting at a studio, at a Chalice recording studio. He said that on and about September the 12th, 2022, Lil Rod said that Diddy, and this is all the things I'm reading, y'all, is what Lil Rodney says he has in evidence that he's turning in. And now the judge, if you guys can see the update that just came out here tonight, the judge has come out here tonight and basically stated that the lawyers had to have a conference call with the court on August the 6th, 2025, in which the entire media can listen in on. Now, the judge says that the counsel for both of Diddy and Lil Rod are directed to confer with each other before the conference call begins, because it says that the counsel are further directed to use the court's civil case management plan and scheduling order form, called the form, to jointly prepare detailed and written proposed schedule for any motions and discovery, meaning evidence. So now all of the evidence I'm giving you guys, all of the evidence I'm giving y'all is, all of the writing I'm giving y'all is, Lil Rod says he has evidence of this. So this is all the stuff Lil Rod is claiming that he gonna put in that lawsuit now, because it goes to discovery. So this is the things I'm telling you guys, all the things Lil Rod talking about, he putting into evidence, right? So Lil Rod goes on to say that on September the 12th, 2022, Diddy had held writers and a producer's camp at the Chalice recording studio at at a certain address in California. Now, he says that Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend G was present at this camp. Now, he said, based on the information, his belief, he said Mr. G is a 30-year-old tall African American male. Now, he says, based on his information and belief, he says, in addition to those individuals, other musicians were present at the camp. Now, he says that he has spoken to several musicians who attended the camp. Now, he says one evening during the camp that Diddy, Justin Combs, and G were in a heated conversation. He said the conversation was moved out of the studio into a bathroom adjacent to where Rodney was sitting. And Rodney said he was sitting approximately 2 feet away from that bathroom when gunshots rang out. Now, he says he recalls hearing multiple gunshots. Now, Rodney says he immediately went into a state of shock and feared that he would be shot next. Now, he said he genuinely believed that he would be shot through the door due to how close he was. Now, he said after the shooting ended, a crowd gathered around the bathroom. He says that upon information, his belief, when the door finally opened, he said that Diddy, his son Justin, exited the bathroom. Now, he said G was lying on the restroom floor in a fetal position, holding his stomach and bleeding out from his torso, leg, and hip area. Now, he went on to say everyone stood around looking up upon G. And he said, frustrated by the lack of aid to G, he dropped everything, ran to him, and immediately placed pressure on this dude's gunshot wound to his torso. Now, he said as he was applying pressure to his torso, that he realized that G was gushing blood from another area near his leg and hip. So he decided to lift G and place him on the seat on the toilet. Now, Rod said he asked the crowd to call an ambulance. Now, Rod says that he lifted G and brought him to the ambulance in front of the studio. He said at this time, Diddy and Justin disappeared to another part of the studio. Now, he says that Diddy gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting, and that he also forced Rodney Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. Now, also, right, he puts a copy of that article in the lawsuit. Now, he also put some graphic photos of that scene in the bathroom, where he took these photos in the bathroom, and he took the photos where it has, that red stuff on the floor from the wound, and he put that in the lawsuit. Now, he also said that, he has several corroborating witnesses who spoke with this writer anonymously because they fear retaliation from Diddy. He said that they have agreed to speak publicly when subpoenaed, right? So Rodney Jones is saying these people are willing to go under the subpoena of the court and testify against Diddy. Now, he also states that Rodney says he still has the clothes he wore that day and believes it will have G's bloodstain and DNA on those clothes, and he's going to enter those clothes in the evidence. He also says that he has screenshots, and he put up the screenshots of the restroom where he said the G was shot by either Diddy or Justin. Now, he said upon information of belief, he said it is clear that G was not shot outside the studio. As he said, Diddy instructed his team to report to law enforcement. Now, he says, upon information and belief, Diddy and the defendants, LR, MR, and whatever, right? A lot of those people got canceled, so it's just Diddy. He said, provided private security for the writer's camp at Chalice. Now, it says the security was porous and lackluster at best, said Rodney Jones, right? Now, Rodney Jones also said that the fact that either Diddy and Justin were allowed to enter the CRS studio with guns, and those guns were not confiscated by security, is a clear breach of duty by Mr. Combs' defendants. He says to protect him and other attendees of this writer's camp. Now, he said as a result of the shooting, he has been severely traumatized. He suffers from PTSD, severe anxiety, depression, and insomnia. And he says the following is an image of Diddy a couple of hours before the dude was shot in the bathroom. Now, he put that photo of Diddy up in the lawsuit, right? So then he also goes on to say, right, that Diddy and his team provided conflicting accounts to what happened in that studio. You know what I'm saying? Now, he also claims that he was sexually harassed by Diddy and assaulted by Diddy. Now, he said throughout his time of living with Diddy that he was the victim of constant, unsolicited, and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Diddy. But these niggas love to take up for Diddy. Diddy's the 304 who allegedly loved touching dudes' cakes. That's what Rodney Jones said. Rodney Jones said the man was touching his anus, repeatedly groping and touching his anus. Now, he also said the events occurred at LA, New York, and Florida, St. Bartholomew, and in the United States Virgin Island. Diddy did it in all these places to him. He said, in addition to the unsolicited and unauthorized touching, he was forced by Diddy to work in Diddy's bathroom as Diddy walked around with no clothes on and showered in a clear glass enclosure. So he said that Diddy was having him. Now, see, this is the thing, man. Like, bro, at some point in time, it comes your pride, bro. You can't be this scared of a man, bro, or a man got you nothing down. People saying Diddy do this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, bro, you got to be a man, bro. I'm sorry, man. Man, how you doing that in the shower, bro? I'm sorry, man. Like your dignity got to come first. And this is what show you. This is what we talking about selling your soul, man. Like for real, man. My dignity come for all that, bro. You're not finna make me stand in here, do music while you taking a shower butt naked. That's not gonna happen, bro. That's you gonna have to take me off this planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? Or better yet, like I said before, I ain't gonna say that on YouTube, but I'm just telling you, dog. Like that. That's out of pocket, my nigga. Now he says, as a heterosexual Christian man, he was uncomfortable with Diddy's advances, and he said he expressed his discomfort to Diddy chief of staff Christina Coram. Now he said Christina Coram responded to his complaint by saying, "You know, Sean would be Sean." And so he said Christina Coram also attempted to downplay Diddy's groping his ass and his nuts as friendly horseplay, stating that those acts were Diddy's way of showing that he likes you. Now, he said despite these assurances on several occasions, when Diddy began to undress and walk around his house naked, Christina Coram would say, "Okay, I'm leaving now," and she would disappear. He said Christina Coram's hypocrisy is breathtaking at best or enabling at worst. Now, he also believes that Christina Coram aided and abetted Diddy in sexual assault and was working with Diddy to groom him into accepting a homosexual type of relationship. Now, again, Christina Coram's name is up in this whole situation because Cassie has named her in the court. So I don't know where she's going to come out in here, but Cassie has named her as a co-conspirator in this situation. So obviously, we got to see what happens with her. And I told you guys, the first dude that's going to testify, one of the first people in Diddy's inner circle's name is David James. He's supposed to testify next week, early next week, like on Monday. So it goes on to say that Diddy, uh, it says that Diddy, it says, though these sexually deviant acts, or through the sexually deviant acts by Diddy, he said one will say Diddy has a pattern and a practice of engaging in such nefarious activity. Now it says this ongoing conduct shows that Diddy cannot be rehabilitated. So he doesn't think Diddy can be rehabilitated, right? Somebody said I need sleep, nigga. I don't sleep. I don't. I'm not y'all. I don't sleep. I told you I got I operate 5 hours sleep. I don't sleep. I'm doing stuff all day. I'm always on the move. I'm always doing stuff. I can't sleep. I'm not like y'all. I'm built different. Believe that. Anyways, though, it says that Diddy attempted to groom Mr. Jones into engaging in homosexual sex, in gay sex. So he said that Diddy, right, knew that he looked up to and idolized the music producer Stevie J. Now, he said, based on his information and belief, Stevie J is an American DJ, record producer, and TV personality. Now, he says that also Stevie J was a part of the Bad Boy production team and the Hitman. He said that in '97, Stevie J won a Grammy Award for his work on Puff Daddy's debut album. Now, he says that also through the late '90s, Stevie J produced for several artists, including Mariah Carey, Tevin Campbell, Biggie, 112, Jodeci, Faith, Jay-Z, and Eve. Now, he also went on to say that Stevie J was one of the producers on the Love album. Now, he also went on to say that Diddy used to access Stevie J, or Diddy used access to Stevie J and his knowledge of, Mr. Jones' admiration for Stevie J to groom and entice him to engage in homosexual acts. Now, he's saying that Diddy used to use Stevie J and his knowledge of Rod's admiration for Stevie J to groom and entice him into committing homosexual acts. He says that Diddy went so far to share a video of who he claims was Stevie J anally penetrating a Caucasian male without a condom. Now, he says that he believes that Diddy showed him this and attributed it to his idol, Stevie J, to ease his anxiety concerning homosexuality. Now, Lil Rod also said that Diddy said that this is a normal practice in the music industry. Look, even Stevie J is doing it. So he said that's what Diddy said to him. He said Diddy told him that homosexuality, but these niggas out here capping for Diddy, right? Homosexuality is a normal practice in the music industry. And he said that Diddy told him, look, even Stevie J is doing it. So he was like, basically, he said that Diddy informed him that he had engaged in a sexual intercourse with a certain rapper by the name of, and he took the name off, and he said an R&B singer, male R&B singer. So Lil Rod says that Diddy told him that he had sex with a certain male rapper, and he had sex with a certain male R&B singer, and Stevie J as well. So he said he said that Diddy told him he slept with Stevie J as well. He also said that Diddy promised to make sure that he wins Producer of the Year at the Grammys if he used homosexual acts on him. Now, he says that he was sexually assaulted by Young Miami's cousin uh, Thanksgiving in 2022. Now, he says on Thanksgiving Day 2022 that he was at Diddy's house in Miami and that Young Miami and her female cousin, who he won't name, were also present. Now, he claims that Diddy was intoxicated and offered that white stuff to him, substance to him. He says he rejected it and proceeded to walk to the restroom. Now, he said while using the restroom, Young Miami's cousin burst into the bathroom and began groping him. Now, he says that he believes that Combs sent her in there to sexually assault him. Now, he also says that as he entered the bathroom, that she dropped to her knees and began to give him top on his exposed beefcake. Now, he says that he pushed her away and left out the bathroom. He also said that Young Miami's cousin did not accept his rejection as she proceeded to follow him out of the bathroom. Now, he says she started undressing and attempted to straddle him and have sex with him in the presence of Diddy and his staff. He says that despite the lack of assistance from Diddy and his staff, he pushed her off, and the following images from a video of her cousin, right, is he put this in a lawsuit, right? So basically, he put a picture of Thanksgiving Day of him and Diddy, right? He said it's right before Diddy invited him into the bathroom and forced him to use that white substance, right? And then he also put in this lawsuit a picture from that same day of Young Miami and her cousin, who he said sexually assaulted him on Thanksgiving, right? Now, he talks about Trafficking and Victims Protection Act. Now, he says that he was transported from California to New York to Florida to St. Bartholomew to the United States Virgin Islands through his time with Diddy. Now, he says during that time, he was forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts to the pleasure of Diddy. Now, he says on or about February the 4th, 2023, he says Diddy forced him to bring prostitutes and sex workers back to his home in Miami. Now, he actually put a pictures in the lawsuit, and he says these are the sex workers that Diddy forced him to bring back to his home. So he actually put pictures of two women who he said were the sex workers that Diddy forced him to bring back to the home. He put those pictures in the lawsuit. Now, he says on or about February the 22nd, 2023, that he believes that Diddy drugged him. Now, he says he recalls waking up naked, dizzy, and confused. He said he was in bed with two sex workers and Diddy. He also recalls aimlessly wandering around the house without no clothes on. Now, he also has a picture of those sex workers in his bed the morning after he said he was drugged. So he put that picture in the lawsuit as well that he has against Diddy. He also says that on another occasion in Miami, Florida, on Thanksgiving night of 2022, that Diddy asked him and DeForest Taylor to enter the studio bathroom. Now, Lil Rod says he asked him for $100 bill because he wanted to do that white stuff with him. Now, Rod said he was scared, but luckily he didn't have $100 bill. So Diddy waited a little later to do it with Young Miami allegedly. Now he said, according uh, to his memory, that later that evening Diddy required him to solicit sex workers from Booby Trap on the River, located at, and it's a certain address. And he says that he did that, and he said Diddy forced him to engage in unsolicited sex acts with those workers. Now he also went on to show pictures of this place called Booby Trap on the River. Now, in the lawsuit. Now he also says there's a part of his sex worker recruitment tools that Diddy provided him with an exclusive bad boy hat, baseball cap. He said they required him to wear it to the booby trap on the river as a signal to any sex worker he approached that Diddy was in town and had sent him to recruit them. Now, according to Rod, he says that he had no desire to visit the booby trap on the river, that he had no desire to solicit sex workers from the booby trap on the river. He says that Diddy used his power and influence to intimidate, force him into soliciting sex workers from booby trap on the river. Now he says, as he details, he says that Diddy used many tactics to maintain domination and control over Lil Rod. Now he says that these workers were accustomed to servicing Diddy and could know he was in town by the sight of his bad boy baseball cap. Now he said the following were Instagram profiles of two of the sex workers that Diddy required him to solicit and have sex with in his home in Miami. And them two thick joints too. God, dog, them joints thick. It said Mr. Jones says he had no desire to solicit. He put the pictures up of them joints too. Them joints stupid thick. It says that Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit or have sex with these individuals in previous, that he previously mentioned. But he says that Diddy used his power and influence to intimidate and force him into soliciting and sleeping with those women. Now, he also says that he put the phone number of another sex worker that Diddy required him to solicit and perform sex acts with in the lawsuit. He also says that he had no desire to solicit and or have sex with the individual in the process or in the previous statements that he had made. And he says that Diddy used his power and influence to intimidate, right? And force him into soliciting and sleeping with those women. Now he says, according to his belief, that Diddy used many tactics to maintain dominion and control over him. He promised him Grammy for Producer of the Year award of the Love album. He offered him $250,000 to purchase all the instruments he wanted. He promised him ownership of his $20 million property, One Star Island in Miami. He promised access to record label executives. Now, he says that Diddy would often switch up his approach. He would go from promising him the world to threatening him with physical harm. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this. Lil Rod got a whole responsibility. Because if Diddy's on that type of time and you still over there going along with it, you didn't say that he put something to your head and said, hey, you didn't say that he sent these goons at you yet. Haven't read that yet. You're just saying he promised you things. So does that mean you were willing to do those things? That's a question. If you were going to get those things in return, it's just a question. So Lil Rod says that Diddy would often switch up his approach, like I said, and go from promising him the world to threatening his life, right? Or physical harm on him. Now, he said that Diddy threatened to eat his face and informed him that he would be willing to kill his mother. He said Diddy said that he was willing to unalive his own mother, Janice Combs. It says if he must get what he wanted so he wouldn't think twice about hurting him. So Diddy said he'll unalive his own mama if he had to, so he won't think twice about doing something to him. Now, he also said that in the light of Diddy's detailed history of committing violent crimes, Plaintiff's fear of Diddy is reasonable. Now, Gene Deal also said that Diddy threatened his mom on a few occasions. Now, there was rumors that Diddy hit his mom. Now, I don't know if those rumors are true or not. Those are allegations that people have made against Diddy, but those have not been proven to be true or not. But these are the things that people are saying. Now, uh, Rodney also said he personally witnessed Diddy and his son solicit, drug, and engage in illicit sex acts. Now, he says on or about July of 2023 that Diddy held a listening party at his home in Cali. Now, he says he was present at the party where a certain R&B artist, Diddy's son, sex workers, and some underage girls were present. Now, he said, according to his belief and memories, that the event began at 7 p.m. and that Diddy requested female sex workers and required Lil Rod to solicit them. He said an hour later, several sex workers appeared. Now, he says in addition to the sex workers, there were at least 5 women in the crowd who were under the age of 16. Now, he says, according to his memory and belief, that Diddy forced all the women to drink laced De Leon liquor. He says that upon information in his beliefs, that Diddy laced the liquor with X. Now, he says that also that Diddy did not check the identification of any of these underage girls. He said that the presence of these underage women made him feel very uncomfortable. He attempted to leave, but Diddy forced him to stay, he said. He said that Diddy went so far as to take his car keys to prevent him from leaving. Now, he says after being forced to drink laced De Leon shots, he began feeling lightheaded and recalls passing out and waking up at 4 a.m. the following morning, naked with a sex worker sleeping right next to him. Right? Now, he also says that he is in possession of the video and will provide a copy to the court. That's crazy work. He said Rodney Jones said he is in possession of the video, and that he was willing to present a copy of that video to the court. That's crazy work. He also said that Diddy attempt to pass off him to Cuba Gooding Jr. Now, he says that he believes that Diddy was grooming him to pass him off to his friends. He says that the fear became a reality when Diddy introduced him to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on his yacht. He said, now, he also said that during the introduction, that Diddy suggested that Cuba get to know him better. And he says that Diddy left him alone in a makeshift studio in the yacht. Now, he showed the picture of Cuba Gooding Jr., and he claims it's moments before Cuba Gooding Jr. assaulted him, and he's basically got his arms pushing Cuba Gooding Jr. off of him, right? And so, like I said, this guy put pictures of this stuff in the lawsuit. Like for everybody who's thinking, like, what the hell is going on? Like, no doubt, this guy put pictures in the lawsuit. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys. Now, he looks like he's trying to hold this dude off, but the dude's saying something to him. Like, it's like Cuba Gooding, like, bro, this is crazy, man. I'm about to show y'all right now. I'm about to just show everybody, bro. Crazy work. Now, Rod is smiling, and this is the thing. This other picture, he's smiling. That's not going to help him. That's not going to help him right there. I'm telling you right now. Right? So, he like I said, bro, if it was like that, you should have been fighting this dude off, bro. In my opinion, like, bro, what you doing? You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, it went, like, it wouldn't have went like that. It had been a whole, you know what I'm saying? You going out on a stretcher before he do me like that. Straight up. You know? But I want to show y'all this because I want to show y'all what he said, right? I want to show y'all what he said. I want to show y'all the picture that he put in the actual lawsuit, because this dude is putting pictures in here. Now, he's saying he's got all this evidence, photos, videos, all this stuff. And now, as I told y'all, that he will be able to put this in the evidence in court. He will be able to put this in the evidence in the court. Now, that's the picture right there that he claims is of Cuba Gooding Jr. Now, he said the one on the right-hand side is Cuba Gooding Jr. moments before he claims that Cuba Gooding Jr. sexually assaulted him, right? Now, he said that he rejected Cuba Gooding Jr.'s advances, but he says that Cuba Gooding Jr. did not stop until he forcibly pushed him away. Now, he said that, like I said, that's a screenshot of the encounter, he says, with Cuba Gooding Jr. Now, you know, bro, this is crazy work, man. Crazy work, man. Crazy work, bro. Crazy work. Now, he also claims that Diddy uses power and influence to threaten and intimidate him. Now, he says, according to his memory and belief, that Diddy is very forceful and demanding. He says that Diddy does not take no for an answer and would often threaten to inflict bodily harm on him if he did not comply with his demands. Now, he also said that Diddy threatened to eat his face, and he said on another occasion that while standing in Diddy's bedroom, he was forced to watch Diddy as he displayed his guns and bragged about getting away with shooting people. He also said that Diddy shared that he was responsible for the shooting in the nightclub in New York City with the rapper Shine. He also said that he shared that the artist and Diddy's girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, allegedly carried the firearm into the club for him, passed him to Blicky, and after he got into an altercation with another individual. Now, he's saying that according to a civil complaint filed by Cassie during their decade-long relationship, he said that Diddy demanded that Cassie carry his firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is. Now, he also said that, as was the case with J-Lo and Cassie, Diddy required the white boy who disappeared, y'all, Brendan Paul, who was with Diddy when he got arrested with the substance. He said, and Jones, to carry his firearm on their person whenever they went out. Now, he said one of these occasions that he was required to carry Diddy's firearm was when Diddy recorded himself coaching him on how to solicit sex workers, right? Now, he says that the shooting in the Chalice recording studios confirmed Diddy's statements. Now, he also said that, these statements reinforced his fear of Diddy and strengthened Diddy's domain and control over him. He also said that he was terrified of Diddy. He felt like he couldn't tell Diddy no. He also says that Diddy constantly made it clear that he has immense power in the music industry and with law enforcement. And he also made it clear, he says that Diddy said that his head of security, Fahim Muhammad or Mr. Muhammad, had the power to make people and problems disappear. And he also put a picture of this guy inside of his lawsuit. Now, he said, according to his memory, he said that Diddy instructs his staff to always contact Mr. Muhammad if the police in Miami or California ever pull them over. Now, he also said that Mr. Muhammad spoke with the LAPD after G was shot at the studio. Now, he said that the LAPD was in the studio and witnessed the blood in the restroom, and they went with the bogus claim that the shooting of G occurred outside the studio, right? And so he said that this was all thanks to this guy, Mr. Muhammad's connections within law enforcement. Now, he also said that he has no reason to believe that Diddy, as he had seen firsthand through the shooting of G and the subsequent silence of the LAPD and the media, that Diddy indeed had the power to harm him. Now, he says that the LAPD spent hours in the studio after the shooting of G, yet there were no arrests. He said that, he witnessed the LAPD in the restroom, which he dropped a picture for, but yet there were no arrests that was made. He said the morning after that shooting, him and several others arrived at the studio, and the guy G's blood was still on the floor in the restroom. Now, he said that Diddy hired a cleanup crew to clean that stuff up, right? Crazy work, bro. Crazy work, bro. Crazy work. He also had allegations against Christina Corum, right? Now, he compares her to Epstein's Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Now, he says that during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Diddy, he witnessed Diddy display and distribute guns from his bedroom closets in Miami. And he said Florida, Los Angeles, California, to questionable individuals dressed in all black. He also said that during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Diddy, that he witnessed Christina Coram openly order her assistants to keep Diddy high off gummies and pills. Now, he also said that Christina Coram required all the employees, from the butler to the chief or to the chef to the housekeepers, to walk around with a black Prada pouch or fanny filled with the white stuff, GHB, and X. Now, crazy work, man. He also said that this writer has spoken with several former employees that Diddy who witnessed Christina Coram instruct her staff to lace champagne, De Leon, and Ciroc liquor bottles with X and other drugs, right? He also says that he has a recording of this and will also provide this in evidence to the court. He also says that they was, supposed to have marijuana gummies, Tushi, all this stuff, available. Now, he says that also Christina Coram wanted Diddy's drug of choice immediately ready whenever he asked for it. He also said that she ordered sex workers for Diddy. On one occasion, she sent Rodney a text message requesting that he call a particular sex worker, saying, "We have the message." And he says, "We have the message." So that's what I'm telling y'all. When y'all talking about next week, whenever, because they've already named Christina Coram. If he's got those messages, he gave those to the feds, and they put that in the report. Man, it's gonna get ugly, man. Now, also, it says that according to, Rodney Jones, that Christina Coram ordered and distributed X, the white stuff, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and shrooms to Diddy and his celebrity guests who were present on his rented yacht and in his homes in LA and Miami. Now, it says that according to his belief and his memory, on multiple occasions, this woman, Christina Coram, forced him to carry Diddy's drug pouch against his will. Now, he said the pouches were always black, and in several of Diddy's staff carried black Prada pouches. Now, he says, according to his memory, that Christina Coram also sent Diddy sent him, to solicit sex workers for Diddy. When the workers arrived at Diddy's residence, he said that Christina would negotiate their price and would take them aside and pay them. Bro, if they pull all this stuff into court in this trial, and this man said he got proof of this stuff, that's the crazy part. So, and remember he said he was willing to talk to the feds too and give them his evidence? That's crazy, bro. So we don't know what he's given and what they have, right? Now, it also says, he showed a picture of those pouches. He showed a picture of Diddy with, the guy Brendan Paul, the dude who's disappeared now. Nobody know where he at. Now, he says, as the chief of staff, Christina Coram was instrumental in organizing and executing the RICO and TVPA enterprises. Now, he says that Christina Coram had the following individuals execute the following tasks for RICO and TVPA enterprises. Now, he claims, Rodney Jones says, that Stevie J recruits sex workers and attends parties and freak-offs. He says that Justin Combs solicits prostitutes, underage girls, and sex workers and would engage in freak-offs. And he said Brendan Paul works as Diddy's mule, and he acquires and distributes Diddy's, his blickies and his illegal substances. He also says that Frankie Santella works alongside Brendan while Brendan acquires and distributes Diddy's, substances in his blickies, that Frankie carries the money and pays for these items. Now he says that he has a video of Diddy, Stevie J, and himself at a strip club. He said that Diddy is recording the video while coaching and training him on how to recruit the sex workers. So he says he has video of Diddy training and recruiting, showing him how to recruit the sex workers. See, this is all the stuff that y'all got to wonder if he turned this into the feds, if they're going to play this in the trial. Hey, listen, I'm just reading the stuff they saying. I'm reading the stuff that's out here in the public information. This ain't nothing that's private. This is public information. Rodney Jones says he has the video of Diddy, Stevie J, and himself at a strip club. And he says that Diddy is recording the video while coaching and training him on how to recruit sex workers. Now, he says the vice president of music management and strategic partnerships, Comb Global, as well as he put down there in the caption, right? Now, he says that Moy Bond hires sex workers and attends and participates in free calls, right? That's what he said. Now, he put a picture of this guy in this photo as well. He put a picture of him, right? He also says that Diddy funded and used his affiliation with local gangs and gang leaders who would frequent his homes in LA and Miami to secure the drugs and guns he obtained and distributed out of his homes in LA and Miami. Now, he says that he intentionally left the names and images of these individuals out of the pleading out of fear of retaliation. He says that he will provide the information to the court under seal or by camera. So Rodney says all this information, he says he turned it into the court. He said he got pictures, all this stuff, man. It's crazy as hell, man. He also says that the defendants, Diddy, he said, executed his RICO and TVPA enterprises with threats of violence, threatening to eat his face, displaying distribution of guns in plaintiff's presence, bragging about having law enforcement under control, bragging about murdering people, bragging about bribing witnesses and jurors, and the criminal case concerning the 1999 New York club shooting with Shine. Now, he says as a result, Diddy could maintain dominion and control over him. He also said that, Diddy and his team executed a RICO and a TVPA enterprises with threats of isolation from the music and entertainment industry, parading powerful music industry executives at his parties filled with sex workers and illegal drugs such as X, the white stuff, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushroom. He says that according to his belief, Diddy executed his RICO and his TVPA enterprise with the threats of non-payment for work completed, fake promises of cash payments of $250,000, Producer of the Year Grammy Awards, and guaranteed access to future projects and a $20 million home on Star Island in Miami. Now, he also says that Diddy has been allowed to wreak havoc. Now, he says that while living and traveling with Diddy, he discovered that Diddy had hidden cameras in every room of his home. He says that Diddy has recordings. He believes that Diddy has recordings of several celebrities, artists, music label executives, and athletes engaging in illegal activity at his functions. That's why I don't understand why these niggas taking up for Diddy. If Diddy really got these videos of all these other people, now it makes sense why they take up for him. But it says, upon his information and belief, he said the individuals were recorded without their knowledge and consent, and is the case with the homosexual sex tape that Diddy provided to him, claiming to be Stevie J. Now, he says that Diddy possesses compromising footage of every person who has attended his freak-off parties and his house parties. He also says that upon his belief and information due to the treasure trove of evidence he has in his possession, that Diddy believes he's above the law and untouchable. He also says that based off his information and belief as well, Diddy employs Jose Cruz as his IT director. He says this writer has spoken to several former employees of Diddy who confirmed that Jose Cruz is the gatekeeper to all of Diddy's recordings. Now, he said upon his information and belief, Jose Cruz intentionally hides behind the camera and from social media, and the intent due to all of the incriminating acts he was required to record for Diddy. Now, he also claims that Diddy hired a private investigator named Russell L. Green to seek out, harass, and bribe individuals to provide them dirt on Rodney Jones. Now, he says that on about March the 2nd, 2024, that Rodney Jones was informed by a close friend from his church that Diddy's engineer, Mac Testa, provided an individual's phone number to an LA-based private investigator named Russell L. Green. Now, he goes on to say that upon his information and his belief, Mr. Green attempted to bribe this anonymous individual with uncertain amount of money in exchange for her producing text messages or any evidence that could produce to paint Rodney Jones in a bad light. Now, he says during a call with him that this individual expressed fear for their safety and the safety of their family. Now, he said this is a clear example of some of the tactics implemented by Diddy and the members of Diddy's RICO and TVPA enterprise. Now, he also says besides contacting the individual previously mentioned, he says that Mr. Green contacted Rodney Jones' 8-year-old daughter, solicited information from this child about her father until she cried in fear and handed the phone to her mother. Now, he said at that time, the mother hung up the phone. And he said that Mr. Green proceeded to text her, and she informed her that she did not want to be bothered. And he continued to send her unwanted, harassing text messages, right? Crazy work, man. Crazy work, bro. So these are all the claims that Lil Rod said he's putting in the evidence against Diddy. And now, as I told y'all, tonight, the court has ruled, the judge has ruled tonight that they will have a meeting, the lawyers for Diddy and the lawyers for Lil Rod, on August the 6th, 2025. And they will have a meeting, and in this meeting, they will be lining up the schedule for how Rodney Jones will be entering this evidence into the courts in discovery. So this is going to the discovery phase. Today has just been released tonight. The judge has just released this paperwork right here. And the judge says that Lil Rod Jones and Diddy's team now have to come up with a timeline of dates where Lil Rodney Jones will enter his evidence to the courts into official discovery process. So, man, bro. And he said he got all that evidence. He said he got all that video. Bro, this is about to get real bad, bro. That's all I can really tell you, man. It's going to get real bad, brother. And so, especially if he has all the stuff he say he have, because he said he got all these videos, photos, everything. You know what I'm saying? Because he said that he was the one that was taking a lot of the videos on behest of Diddy or stuff like that. So he kept those videos, kept those photos. And so, man, bro, and you have to ask yourself how much of this stuff is actually put into this case right here, being that, this is a RICO case as well. So, man, bro, and you don't think they didn't call Lil Rod to see what he got. Lil Rod was up there at the courthouse the other day. So crazy work, man. Crazy work, man. But you guys definitely let me know what y'all think. Again, all parties are innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. These are just the allegations that Lil Rod has made against these guys. But y'all definitely let me know what y'all feel on this, man. Like, share, subscribe. Salute to everybody tapping on in. Peace.
All right, you guys. So we appreciate everybody that popped in, supported this video. Make sure that you guys shop our merch. We got that new A Weapons merchandise right there below this video. All you gotta do is look below. The links will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well to get the merch, to donate, support the channel, and subscribe to our podcast show. You'll see all those links pinned at the top of the comment section of this video. And we appreciate everybody that supports this channel and our networks. Also, that straight drop weight loss formula. Go to the website. You guys will see that. A link for that will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well. Go right there for all of your weight loss needs. Straight drop weight loss formula. We have a lot of testimonials on the website. You can go to www.str-8-drop.com and get you some of the weight loss formula today. Take your weight loss serious. Get in the gym, work out, exercise, and do what you got to do. Stay on point. We appreciate everybody that's been locked into this video. Again, all the links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. Salute to all of y'all. And again, we appreciate everybody who support what we doing over here.